Hello, I'm Jill. Thanks for tuning in today. Yesterday we worked on the Mama Duck and Baby Duck projects, which are just adorable, and I mentioned that I'd follow up with two other of the same design projects, and here they are. And yesterday we worked on assembling the cards and making the cards, and I thought today we could work on the blends just a little bit more. I know that there's a full tutorial on the blends, but everyone's having so much fun with them. And I wanted to share a little bit more with you regarding the blends. These are card kits and they are for free with orders. And my blog is jillibling.com. My store is jillystampin'up.net, and you've turned into the YouTube channel. The hostess code to get the card kits for free. If you want to order just a few items, they quickly add up and you could get card kits for free. And here's the breakdown of the amount of card kits you'll get with your order, and I'll have all this information on my blog. So we'll be using Fable Friends and Your Inspiring stamp set. So we'll be using the Little Bunny, which is this card here. It reminds me of the Beatrix Potter bunny. My children's nurseries were decorated with Beatrix Potter, so I have a soft spot for that little bunny. And then also we'll be using this Daffodil. And I looked up online, show me a purple, thinking about the Highland Heather paper, a purple iris. And I saw a picture of this one and I thought, well, with the blends I might be able to duplicate it. And that's another reason I wanted to focus on the blends today, is usually when you're working with blends, you say, okay, I'm going to color it purple. So you use the Highland Heather Light and Highland Heather Dark, and that's where you leave it. But you could combine any colors will blend together, and they'll have a real smooth graduation of color. And so I thought I'd show you how to do that. And even with this little bunny, see how there's the really dark blue right there? That's navy, and then Night and Navy blends, and then I go into the balmy blue blends. And then see how his little cheeks, I don't know if this is a girl or a boy, but Bunny's cheeks have just a hue of pink in them. So I'll show you about that. Oh, let me show you the inside too. Very simple, but really nice. And then look at the background, the sky. I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so let's get started. What should we work with? How about if we do the bunny first? So the bunny, when you get your card kit, everything will come already pre-cut. It just won't be stamped. It's against Stampin' Up! Rules to send stamped images. But if you get the set, then you get the card kit for free, and everything is already pre-cut, which is really convenient. So as I talked about coloring, usually I start with the darker color of the blends first, and then I use the next lighter tone to blend the lighter to the darker. And here, I'll show you about that. So with the bunny, I put on just the darker color. I usually start with the darkest first. And let me get the Balmy Blue Light and Balmy Blue Dark. So the color that I started with is Navy, Night and Navy Light. That's this marker. And I did just a little bit where the shadows would be. Now I'm going to do the next color in line after. Well, here, let me put these up. This is the order I do them. Night and Navy Light, Balmy Blue Dark, Balmy Blue Light. So, because the dark is already on there, now I'm going to start with the Balmy Blue Dark. And when you're coloring with the blends, if possible, try to get at least 2 layers of color. If you have just one pass of the color, that's not the full true color. And I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a minute. So I'm applying a little bit of Balmy Blue Dark. I'm going to show you what I mean by 2 layers, because this is obviously just one pass with the marker. So when you look at this, you could clearly see there's Night and Navy Light, and then you could see the second color, which is Balmy Blue Dark. Now if I go over the Night and Navy Light, the balmy blue is trying to replace it, because like they say with the blends, if you keep going over a color, you eventually will replace it. It doesn't have to be, it's okay if it's a darker color being covered up by a lighter color. So if I keep going over that, it's going to become balmy blue dark. And that's what makes it look like it's blending. And at first it looks a little bit messy, but in the end it's going to look really good. Here, put it over here, maybe you could see a little bit better. I think sometimes it's better just to do it and let you see it in action. So see how the Knighted Navy ink is diminishing a bit? The more that I hit it with the balmy blue will take over the Knighted Navy. Okay, so that's probably good for that. Now, next I'm going to use balmy blue light, and this will finish up the little jacket. Okay, so first of all, go over the whole thing, one pass of color. It's kind of hard coloring without a flat surface, but doing good so far. Okay, so that's one pass, and you could see, yes, there's light, and then there's the other colors. But if I go over it again, it will make it true balmy blue light. I'll do that. Okay, now to do the blending part. So right here, you could see a really strong line between the light and the dark balmy blue. I'm going to go over it with the light, and that will make the line covered up and smooth. And see that right under the armpit, it's a little bit of a blob. I'm going to go over that a few times because I want it to lighten up. I'm going to do the same thing with the bronze color that I have for the bunny dark outline. So I'll show you again with a different tone. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. When you look at it close up, it's like, okay, but when you finish the whole project, it'll look really good and really shadowed and a lot of dimension on it. Yeah, there's a dark spot right there. Okay, so the jacket is almost done, I think. Now I'm going to move on to the bunny. So I did it in bronze, not really that I want a kind of a red-brown bunny, but I just wanted a darker hue. Next I'm going to use the crumb cake, and the crumb cake is considerably lighter. So if I keep going over the bronze with the crumb cake, it will lighten up. So I have bronze, crumb cake dark, crumb cake light. So this is the order, and next, because the bronze is already on there, I'm going to do crumb cake dark. So I'm going to put one layer of color, and then when I go back with the second layer of color, I'll try to blend out that red bronze. But purposely I want you to see the two different colors, which is part of the plan. So at this point it looks like a two-tone bunny. And remember, I still have that third color. So I'm thinking about a shadow right here under the jacket. And then I want just a little bit of a lighter tummy. So I'll color a lot of that. Okay, so now for the blending part. Because I have one layer, I want definitely a second layer of crumb cake dark. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to go over the bronze, which will make the bronze not quite so red, a little bit more of the gray crumb cake color. And it's looking real blended. Get a second layer there. When I do the next layer of crumb cake light, it's a little bit striking and it's really light. Looks almost a little funny, but in the end it's going to look good. So I'm still working on the second layer and a little bit of the blending. So when you look at the hands, you can see there's definitely two colors. So I'll do the second layer of crumb cake, and then at the same time, color over the bronze to tone it down. Okay, and then down here you could see there's definitely two colors. There's a red color in the crumb cake. Second layer of crumb cake. It's kind of mesmerizing. Okay, bunny's looking good. So the next layer is going to be crumb cake light. I think that's pretty good with the crumb cake dark. Okay, now this layer is a little bit striking, but like I said, it's going to come out good. So here we go, crumb cake light. And you're thinking, okay, that's a big old swatch. And if somebody wasn't used to the blends, they'd think, what did I do wrong? Nothing. So remember how I said you could replace one color with another color, even if it's a dark color on the paper and you're going to light? That's kind of what we're going to be doing right here. So first of all, a second layer of crumb cake. Now I don't like that line around his face. Looks like he has a pigment issue. So I'm going to just let the moisture from the pen, the alcohol ink, soak into the paper. If I keep doing this, his whole face will be crumb cake light. But I just want it to be blended halfway between crumb cake dark and crumb cake light. And I'll come back and I'll do a little more. Looking at his hands, it looks like maybe they need some highlights. So if I go over this a few times, I'm going to get a few highlight spots. Look at that, it's happening. Okay, so now up here, it's starting to look good, huh? And when you put the little pink cheeks on, little bunny looks very human. Okay, so see how the face, it looks pretty good? If I put it down here, it looks even better. Oh, that's much easier coloring down there. Okay, so one layer, this is a second layer of crumb cake light. And now to do the blending, that looks a little bit too red, so I'm going to go over that a few times. And if I keep going over it, sometimes the moisture from the pen, the alcohol, it kind of makes a puddle of color, ink, moisture, and it will bleed outside the lines. So I don't want to keep hitting it. I'm going to let it dry up a little bit, and then I'll try it again, trying to lighten up the redness from there. That should be looking good from where you see it. When I hold it up, you'll see that there's still a little bit of a line, but from a distance, it looks really good. So the object is just to let the moisture from the pen do the work. Still a little red up there. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so how does Bunny look? Cute! Okay, so these colors are done. And how's it look compared to here? They look very similar, huh? How about his cheeks and his ears? So his ears, I'm trying something, once again, a little bit different. This is dark petal pink. And remember how I talked about the two layers? So I'm going to put one layer of color right here on the bottom half of his ear. Put a second layer. So now that is definitely dark petal pink. Okay, now up here, just one layer And that's what makes it kind of the graduated looking color. Cute. And how about those cheeks? So any pink will do. You'll have to, I think this one here, just a little bit and a little bit, and it'll fade out to lighter, but it doesn't take much. Very cute. So for the background, see on this one how the sky is a really soft effect. So I did that with Pool Party Light, and I did just half of it here where I just colored a little bit on. Then I'll use the color lifter to soften it up, and I'll show you how I did that. So this is Pool Party Light, and I'm just going to put a little bit of color here, a little bit here, just in random places, because I'm going to soften this out and blend it out. I don't want too much on there. Okay, now this is Color Lifter. It is just plain alcohol marker with just the alcohol in it and no pigment in it. So to do that, I haven't done this side too much. I'll just go over it. You could see the moisture from the alcohol marker making the paper just a little bit darker, but in the end it's going to push this Pool Party Light color down through the paper to the bottom layers of the paper so we don't see it very much. And that's what makes it look real soft and subtle, like clouds, just a background. And I'll do this on the inside of the card too. And I'm not pushing hard, it's just because I'm holding the paper. It makes it sound more noisy than normal. If I kept doing this, this would make the color, the Pool Party Light blend color, 95% go away. Okay, so that's looking good, I think. It just has a soft effect. And I'll show you that close up too. Isn't that cute? Okay, so that is done. And yesterday we assembled a card, so there's no need to do that today. Well, oh, you know what? I didn't do the green down here. Let me show you a little bit of the green. This is Granny Apple Green, light and dark. And I already did the dark color, so now I'll do the light color just to finish it up. And I'm going to put, I don't know if you could see on here, just a little splotches of pretend grass. And this is with the Granny Apple Dark. Then I'll go over the whole thing with Granny Apple Light. So obviously you can see the difference between the light and the dark blend. So that's one layer. So now I'm going to do a second layer. And now I'm going to purposely hit that line between Granny Apple Light and dark just to kind of soften that up. Well, that came out good. Okay, so here's the finished product. And you know, let me just put that together. It won't take too long. I know yesterday we spent time putting it together and there's no need to do that again, but little bunny is really cute. So I'll put this here. And then ribbon. I wish this stuff hadn't sold out. I'm sure they'll do it again next year. So just a knot. Maybe. Maybe. So when I'm tying a knot, I just put it wherever it's convenient. And then I could shift it after I get the knot completed the way that I like it. Cute. So on this one I have the knot off to the left. Maybe I'll try this one to the right. Oh, I have adhesive under here. That looks good. Okay, I said I wasn't going to assemble it, but I'm just going to finish it up. And oop, the ribbon is twisted under here. I'm hoping no one will know. Completed card. Card to be completed. Like that. And then look at these little words. Darling baby. Very cute. Let me get dimensionals. And look how the bunny has a little rounded area under his feet. That's a perfect place to put. Oh yeah, like I planned that. Yeah. Look how cute is that. I like it right in the center better than off to the side. Oh, but you know what? It really isn't in the center. I'm looking from here to here. Let me try one more time. Okay, good. Okay, so the outside is done. So the inside is pretty much the same with the grass, and I'll show you that really quick. So this is the finished one. And a little bit of sky. So use Memento ink, and that's good to use whenever you're using the blends. If you use StazOn or other inks, they kind of dissolve with the alcohol markers. And that's not good. Okay, so grass. Now, how about Granny Apple Dark? So I'm just going to kind of follow the grass. So I have my phone on silent. I keep on getting all these calls coming through, and they're solicitors. I don't know where everyone got my phone number. It's crazy. And I'm going to make like maybe little hills. And more grass. And I'm going to soften all this up with the Granny Apple light. And a little bit over here. Okay, good. Now, Granny Apple light, I'm going to use the broad tip just because I want to get her done. This marker is getting a little bit tired. I really like Granny Apple. I keep using it over and over, just like the stitch framelits. I'm afraid that my people that come to class are thinking, you use those every time, the stitched rectangle framelits, but I really like them. Okay, so that's pretty much one layer of color. So now I'm going to go and do the second layer, which will make it true Granny Apple light. This is kind of therapeutic. Okay, and now wherever there's a strong line and I want it to soften up, if I keep going over, I'll be replacing that darker color with the lighter color. But I just want it real more medium in between. That's looking good. Okay, and then on the sample, notice there's a little bit of the sky. I didn't do the whole inside of the card with sky. That would probably take a whole marker right there in itself. So I will take Pool Party Light and definitely want it down on the grass. And you notice I'm coloring right over the Granny Apple Dark grass blades. If you hit it just once, it won't really change the color. Phew, I feel like an artist. Okay, so that's a little bit of sky. Now I'm going to use the color lifter to soften it up. And when I do that, do you notice how it looks like it's just wet, a puddle? That means my marker has plenty of liquid in it. So it should be making all these really soft. No strong lines. How's that look? Right now I see a lot of the moisture from the color lifter, so it's not a true color yet. Once that evaporates and dries up, it'll look, because it kind of looks like gray clouds right now. But I know it's going to dry and lighten up. There it goes. Isn't that nice? So, similar. This one still has moisture in it, so it's going to lighten up. Oh, and you know the difference? I was looking at these thinking, ooh, that's bigger. I just used different size framelits, where this one has more of a white border, and this one has less. I like both of them. Okay, so this is going to go into here. And, oh, I've still got the daffodil to show you. I won't do the full card, I promise. Okay, so, little bunny is done. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so that is the blends. And now I will show you more blends. So I'm going to be using this daffodil in purple and red, and who knew? Here is what I'm going to be making. And you know what? I'll just focus on showing you how to color with these vastly different colors and getting them to blend. And I won't take the time to show you. Oh, that shows what colors I used. I'm going to use Old Olive Light and Dark, the color lifter, Mango Light. Here, let me pull them over here just a minute. Let's see, going on Smoky Slate, Highland Heather, and Lipstick. And these are the markers. Oop, that was bunny markers. Okay, these are the markers for the daffodil. And I'm just going to do the outside daffodil, this one here. So, once again, stamp using Memento. Perfect. And somebody asked me, well, why are we cutting out this paper? And I stamped on that paper too. Can you see right there? And it just creates something for this to sit on. If I had these daffodils just sitting on the Highland Heather paper, they get a little bit lost. With the white square, it's continuous. So this one here is already cut out, and I did just the dark colors. And the dark colors I did are Lovely Lipstick Dark and Old Olive Dark. That's how I started this out, and I cut it out. It will be going on here. So whoop, cut out, waha. And then it's just going to sit on top of here. Okay, so Lovely Lipstick is done. And then the next color is Highland Heather Dark. I'll do that. So once again, just go around the outside of it, and I'm going to do at least 2 layers, and then I'll go back to the blending part. Maybe I should get a clipboard for coloring. Maybe this will help. Oh, that's better. I think. Okay, so I did one layer. So now I'm going to go back and do the second layer. So now that's truly Highland Heather dark. And then I'm going to go back one more time and I'll focus on blending the lovely lipstick dark with the Highland Heather dark. So right there you could see definitely two different colors, and I want to blend them. I don't want to take away the lipstick, because that's really pretty. Okay. So now I'll do the lighter, lovely lipstick. And that's going to go on the inside of this daffodil. So first of all, one pass. Ooh, that looks pretty just like that. I'm trying to leave the center stamen. I'm going to do that kind of a yellow. Okay, so I did one layer. I'll do a second layer, and then I'm going to blend it with the lovely lipstick dark. That's pretty. It's such a small little amount. Okay, so that one is done. And now the rest of it is going to be in Highland Heather Light. I think I did this part right here. I need Highland Heather dark in there. I'll get that in just a minute. Okay, so one layer of color. You could tell the difference and say these aren't really blending, but you know what's next. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second layer of color, and at the same time focus on the line between the light and dark Highland Heather. Okay, now if I focus on this, it'll start looking more blended. Okay, and over here, I should have put Highland Heather dark right up there. I'll show you here what I'm talking about. So right now it looks like a stripe, but if I put the in-between color right here, it'll look a little more blended. And now you can really see the difference between the light and dark. So I'll go back with the light. There it goes. Okay, that looks good. So to complete the flower, I will use dark Mango Melody. And that will just be right there. One layer is fine. I want it to stay a little bit light. Okay, so the rest of the flower is white. And when it's just white, sometimes I like to use Smoky Slate Light to make it look like it has shadows in it, and then blend it out with the color lifter. So I'll do that just a little bit. Okay. And now, when you look at this, it's like, well, you put gray on there. I see the gray. But if I use the color lifter, I'll soften it up quite a bit. And then it will just look like a shadow. So I'm purposely doing a little bit in each spot and then moving on to a different spot. I don't want it to get too wet that it creates a puddle and it makes the purples and pinks smear. Because the color lifter, if it's too wet, it will make a puddle and it will make a mess. Okay, so now they're getting really soft. Notice how nice the shadow is on that. Those look good. Ooh, these are looking good too. It's like you have to give it a few seconds to kind of soak it. Okay, one last step on this project, and that is the leaves. I'm doing them in Old Olive Light and Dark. I've already done the dark on here, so now I'll go back and I'll do the light. And I did 2 layers of Old Olive Dark. Oh, I kind of like how it looks with just the 1 layer. You know, when coloring these leaves, it's like, what? It looks like a spaghetti mess in there. I don't know what's what. So I'd start from the bottom, work my way up the stem or the leaf, trying to figure out what are all these things. And in the end, it all works out. That's looking good. So this is a stem. You know, this is looking really good. I don't know that I'm going to do too much blending on this. Like when you could kind of see the dark. It's not perfectly blended. Doesn't everyone love coloring? It's funny, some people do and other people don't. I have a friend, Ruby, and she's like, I don't want to do coloring. But then she sees the projects and she likes them, so she ends up sitting down to do coloring. She's like, why am I doing coloring? It's because it looks good. You know, this marker might be getting a little bit dried out. Almost done here. So if you want card kits delivered to your door and you need just a few supplies, use the host code, which will be on my blog, and I have it written down here. I'll show you in just a minute. And I will get these in the mail, card kits. And if you do want them, let me know what color gingham paper background you like, and I'll make sure to get you that. Okay, I think this is done. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the end. Isn't that pretty? And that's going to go on here. And here's the little words, making it just like this one. And I'm not going to take the time to color the inside because you already know how that goes. And thank you for tuning in. The host code is FTDUHC2C, and I'll have that posted on the YouTube channel description, and then also with a link to my blog, and it will have all the information on getting free card kits. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day.